Hey guys, it's Keith. We're back for another unboxing. Second one so far, I suppose. First one since I got the Nintendo Switch back before Zelda and whatnot. This is not a sponsored video exactly, but it's not completely unsponsored. So just to be clear about what's going on here, I'm not being paid to make this video. I have not been given a script. There's no talking points or anything like that. They just were like, hey, you want a free box? And I was like, sure, maybe I'll make a video on it, but I'll probably be honest about it, about whatever I say. And they called my bluff and actually sent me the box. So here it is. It's the IndieBox. Oh my god, that glare. Yeah, if you want somebody with a suboptimal webcam set up for recording unboxings, then I am your man. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I do not own a proper camera, so nailed it. So let's switch over to the other view real quick. Boop. So this is their website right here. IndieBox is a collector's edition version of like Loot Box or Loot Crate. Is it Loot Crate? I don't subscribe to any monthly boxes. A few years ago, I used to subscribe to Nature Box, and that's like the only one so far. I'm not really a big fan of knickknacks and whatnot, but figured I'd look into this. Like, I figure I'll treat this free box the same way I treat, like, when I get a free code for indie games and stuff like that, and I just do, like, a one-off video. I'm like, this is my impressions video, and then we leave it at that. So this is IndieBox. And as you can see here, next month is going to be Invisible Ink, a game I heavily recommend. That's a really cool game. You don't necessarily have to get it via IndieBox, but you should get it because it's really good. Top-down, turn-based stealth version of XCOM with all the moving around on a grid, but like really cool like cyberpunk hacking stuff mixed with like a stealth system and cool things going on like that. So anyway, IndieBox is a monthly box that comes in your mail. They make collector's editions of indie games. So if you are one of those people that really likes indie games and you're like, it's always a digital download for $10 on some storefront, I want like toys and a box on my shelf, then I guess this is the service for you. It's not a service for me. I'm just going to come out and say that. This is not something I generally care too much about. I've never owned a house, so I'm never like, wow, I sure need more clutter to fill up space. I'm like, no, I don't have space, really, so I'm not exactly their intended audience here. But I know there's all those collectors out there. I've seen Andrew and Marty and their weird shelves covered in collector's editions, and I went over to my brother's house and I saw a freaking, like, the Dishonored mask and stuff like that. So as of right now, you guys have like 4 days to subscribe if you want the Invisible Ink, if that timer on the top of the page means what I think it means. So they do $25 a month, and then if you do really long subscriptions, much like World of Warcraft and other stuff like that, it like gradually reduces the monthly cost overall if you're essentially buying it in a bundle. I have a few gripes with this general idea, not to begrudge anybody else if they want it, but like for me, definitely the things that hold me back is one, I don't necessarily know if I care about the product itself, to be honest. Two, you're essentially just getting a weird grab bag. And like, it's cool, like here's Jotun. And you can see in the background, you can see like Luftrausers and SteamWorld Dig and Towerfall Ascension, Apotheon, Axiom Verge, Armello. Scapegoat 2 is in there, Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. You can see those in the background. I can't really make out this left one very well. It's like a little narrow box. I don't know what that is. They have these past ones: SteamWorld Dig, Rogue Legacy, Rive, Risk of Rain, Nuclear Throne, Luftrausers. My issue is that if you were going to be a long-term subscriber, which you would be if you were subscribing for like a full year, for example, for the bundle discount, is that you're getting collector's editions for like random products, which is like weird to think about. Because like if you get a collector's edition of a game, it's usually because like, you're specifically like laser focused on wanting that specific thing, or at least I think that's why people buy collector's editions. Like, oh man, Mass Effect 7 is coming out and I'm so hyped. I need to get the one that comes with a statue of Not Shepard 3 and stuff like that. I thought that was what people go for, but this kind of runs counter to that idea, because you're getting essentially it's like if you get the instant game collection that PlayStation provides with its subscription, where you get free games each month, except they're collector's edition, so you're getting like premium randomly selected games. I will say though that looking at this selection, it does seem like they don't pick particularly bad games. These are all like, okay, I've never heard of these two, Love Planet and Hue, but aside from that, like these are all like heavily recommended games I hear about quite a bit. So it does seem like it's a decent selection of games that you might want a collector's edition of. If you don't care about subscribing to their service, a decent alternative seems to be that they have this here, but they're expensive. This is their store page where you can buy the collector's editions themselves for $40. They're from the past months that are already gone, basically. And they're apparently standard editions. That's weird. Okay, so you can buy these editions where it's like a single product just in a normal case, like for Fury and whatnot. That's interesting. Apparently they have plushes and stuff. There's dust. So there's a few of these you can still get, but it looks like there's not a ton, and they definitely sell out. So as far as I can tell, the way this business works, and I'm only looking in from the outside, is it seems to be like when a YouTuber is like, I'm going to do a t-shirt, you have to pre-order it by this time, or it's going away forever, and that's your one chance. And my understanding is that when that kind of thing happens, it's because they do a limited run. They make like 300 of this one product, and they sell them all out, and then whatever's left over as overflow goes into a store like this for premium prices, because there's only going to be a few left, and they're like, there was orders for 250, so we made 300 just in case, and then we shipped out those 250, and then here's the overflow sitting here. So like Moon Hunters, Destiny Elysian Tale, Freedom Planet, Axiom Verge, those are gone forever, but there's like floating stuff here. So like if you guys don't care about the subscription service, but you're like, ooh, I really like Hand of Fate, you can grab your Hand of Fate box real quick, and then you'll be one of the only people that has a Hand of Fate collector's edition, I guess, because these are generally physical goods. One downside I've encountered, upside first also, is they come with a DRM free version of the game and a Steam code, or at least the one that I got. They emailed me a Steam code for the game when the product shipped, but within this box that we'll be opening in a bit, there is a disc. A DRM-free, regular-ass, old-school PC game disc. So if you want to have, like, if you're predicting the apocalypse where Steam completely falls apart and dies forever or something, and you want to keep your games in your I don't know, Holocaust bunker nightmare scenario thing, then congratulations, you could have invisible ink forever on a disc. There's downsides to that, though, I found. I was browsing the Reddit because I was trying to get a all-around picture of audience responses to this game and stuff like that. And one of the things I found when I was browsing their Reddit was that people talked about, like, oh yeah, they just did a Hollow Knight box, and everyone loved the Hollow Knight box, right? Because Hollow Knight's a big hyped game lately. One thing is I believe the Hollow Knight box sold out completely. I don't think it's even listed here, is it? I don't think so. According to the pages I saw, they were talking about, Brutal Legend. They're talking about Hollow Knight being completely sold out, like, immediately, so it won't be available in the store at all because of how much it sold for subscription-wise. But there's the additional problem, which is that Hollow Knight just came out with a free update, where they added a bunch of content to the game. So that's the part where we're both looking forward and back in different ways. Like, you get a physical disc, and it's DRM proof, you get to keep it forever, but it doesn't have the updates in it. It's like you buy the game on Steam, you get updates, and then it goes away forever if Steam goes down, maybe, or stuff like that. But like, you get those free updates, whereas when you buy a disc version of the game, it's frozen in time forever, and that's the state the game is in. So you're getting this weird case where people are getting they're getting physical discs for Hollow Knights that are already outdated by the time that they arrive, and that's going to be an ongoing problem for any of these games. Any of these games that are still alive. Like Destiny Elysian Tale, I would say, is dead forever. It's been years now. I don't think they're going to change that game anymore. But a game that's still living and getting updates like Hollow Knight or any sort of the popular roguelites, for example, are more likely to have a problem. Alright, so let's get to the actual unboxing, which I have put off for long enough with my general long-winded nature because I wanted to discuss things about the ups and downs of this product. Generally, I probably wouldn't subscribe to this service. It's a little expensive, I'm not against paying that price for most of these games, but I already own almost every single game that just showed up on that storefront. And so for me, the primary value would be the games themselves instead of the physical part itself. You do get 2 copies of the game technically, in that you could give a Steam key to a friend or something, but you might want to keep that Steam key so you can play the up-to-date version of the game, and then just keep your nice little collector's box on a shelf somewhere, as opposed to actually playing it, and then maybe save it for a rainy day when the internet's down or something like that. But let's look at the box itself. Surprisingly light. Shouldn't really surprise me, but it felt lighter than I expected, just because it is just a box that has it just has a PC game inside it. There is a Steam key printed on the inside label of the box. Just go ahead and give that to you guys. I already have Banner Saga, so can I even hold this in the right position for that to be legible? I'll find a way to make that legible later. It's fine. First come, first serve on the Steam key, because I don't need it. I already have Banner Saga. I already did a playthrough of Banner Saga on this channel. This is not coming out easy. But I don't want to flip it over because my address is on the bottom of the box. There we go. We have this wrapped Banner Saga thing. The label itself here... God damn it. It's not going to be readable. But it says, don't want to open your box? Use your Steam key. And that's like for Nightmare Collector people. There you go. There's the Steam key. So use that, I guess, on Steam. Somebody. You're welcome. So bloomy. Lighting is hard, you guys. This is why video productions are expensive. You need, like, equipment and crap. Alright, so it comes in with this crap. This is just a... sort of a chronicling of what's going to be inside of it. Not really that lead visible, but it tells you there's a statue inside. You get the 2 discs. One is the game itself, and one is the soundtrack, basically. I don't even know what Aztez is, but there's this Aztez card. Manage your empire. This appears to be an advertisement for some kind of indie game called Aztez. Okay. Main box, Banner Saga. I will totally open this crap up because I don't believe in that whole thing where there's some people that are like treated as like sanctity, like don't ever open any boxes because you got to be a true collector. I'm like, no, I own products to have them. I don't know who you like. It's like the 40-year-old virgin scenario. Not to call up everyone who does collector's versions, but I mean, like, that's the thing, is like the 40-year-old version was the character that had like a room just filled with those like unopened boxes and crap, and I'm like, no, enjoy things. There's a big glossy cover, decent art on the front. It does have the IndieBox branding there, but it's a Banner Saga logo on the front, on the sides. Blank back mostly. It tells you it has controller support. That's about it. It's serviceable box art. A little bland in that the sides are just kind of repeating. Like this top is just, look, it's a book, is basically the implication here, is that this whole thing is supposed to be a bound book. But as far as art design goes, it's pretty sparse, I would say. Let's get this open. I always do that. I always end up crunching the cardboard in the process when I open these. Okay. So here's the contents of the box. So it's not really going to go back in very easily. Unless you're going to put it back in with this entire thing. So we have a figurine here. Come on. Come on. There we go. Very, very lightweight. Like, super lightweight. And I guess that just sticks on? Yep. Oh, this is... yeah, this is very lightweight. It's actually, like, squishy. As far as product... Does it squeak? Yep, it squeaks. It's that kind of object. You can see there's a... it's rubber, or something rubber-ish. I'm not really great with material types, but... there's the hole that you're used to seeing that lets air out. This thing is squishy. Like something vaguely statuey. It's supposed to represent a Varl from Banner Saga. And that's, in fact, I believe that's Ubin? Yeah, I think that's the scribe character that seems to be presumably, like, writing the story in Banner Saga. Going for a little less flare. That's as good as you're gonna get with this damn webcam. But yeah, it's definitely a relatively cheap collectible. It's fair to say. And it's frankly, like, that's what it'll look like combined, but I think it's gonna take some effort to make the two pieces of rubber stick together properly. There's like a ring that it has to pop over. Yeah, there's like a little ring it has to pop over, and it's gonna take some effort to get that to stick correctly. So I'll try later, but this is what it'll look like anyway, so let's not spend the entire video trying to squeeze these together. Aside from that, there is the physical copy of Banner Saga. It has the Banner Saga logo. It's a relative... It's like a... It looks like the PS4 style boxes, perhaps. Maybe the Xbox One style boxes. It's definitely like a modern-ish game case. Straight up including, like, back of the box text and everything. Your saga starts now, and a description of the game. Games Radar and IGN quotes. Opens right up. You get an actual instruction manual. You get an IndieBox sticker if you want that. Information about, like, character rosters. Like, it's a genuine instruction manual for a video game. Which you don't really see anymore. Modern games just usually have a weird little clip that seems to suggest there's going to be a instruction manual, and it's usually just empty. It's 17, about 20 pages, including the miscellaneous crap like credits and the track listing for the soundtrack. So we have 2 discs. Just flipping this light on and over and over again. Try to gauge which one looks better in different situations. So, pretty basic 2-disc setup. We have an installation disc, and we have a soundtrack disc. I should probably check the track listing for the soundtrack list. The soundtrack list has the silhouette of the male protagonist character. Installation disc has the silhouette of the lead Varl character, not Ubin, but the Ivor, I believe his name was. Let's check the soundtrack listing. It has a 29-song track list full of, frankly, names I don't really recognize because I don't know the soundtrack of Banner Saga all that well, but it was fine. And that's it. That's all that's in here, really. So, very straightforward. You get a big box. Contains it's basically just the game disc in a case with the soundtrack, instruction manual, and then like a small collectible item of some kind, such as this difficult to put together Varl figurine. Let's take a look at some of the other ones they had, out of curiosity. I'm curious about Wasteland. Did they have a cool thing for that at all? They talk about the graphics overhaul, perks and quirks. It's just all talking about the director's cut version it was. But what does it have for its what came in the collector's edition is what I'm wondering. Is the website not going to help me out very much with that one? It may not give you much help with figuring out what actually was in the collector's edition on this page. Huh. That seems like it'd be the primary sell, is to show, like, whatever the figure is. Let's look at Invisible Ink. Do you tell us about Invisible Ink's box? Nope. We can look at Typo Man, and we can see there was a little Typo Man statue, which, judging from that picture, looks relatively similar to the one I have, so it's probably a kind of squishy rubber figurine. And then it had looks like a Typo Man pen, and it mostly is just a box that comes with this thing. I'd probably just keep this game disc over keeping the giant box, because the giant box doesn't really fit back together unless you're going to put the entire plastic casing that the toy came in also back in the box so that you can make the video game fit again. But yeah, this is IndieBox, a subscription service for indie game collector's editions. Definitely very minimal yeah, you can see there's a little squishy looking Jotun figurine and a keychain for Jotun. So it's relatively minor stuff as far as collector's editions goes. As far as I can tell, it seems to be the equivalent of like when AAA games come out, they have the $60 version, then they have like the $70 version that's like a steel box case and like one tiny item. And then there's the super collector's editions that are like, here's the Dishonored mask, and here's a giant statue and stuff like that. So this is not those ones. This is like the $70 variations, but for indie games. So if that interests you, you can check it out. I probably won't ever subscribe to something like this, but I'm just putting it out there for those that care about it. And I will not be making more videos. If they choose to send me more boxes in the future for free, I'll open them, but I won't make future videos for them, because I'm not going to become like a extended part of their PR arm. I just figured I would treat this like I treat Xbox Live in any sort of like indie games I get over time, where I'm like, let's do an impressions video, talk about it for a little bit, put a video up real quick, and then move on for good, probably. And this is another one of those cases. Will I ever do sponsored videos? Very possible. I won't pretend that money is like... I'm not going to pretend to be above money. I don't have a lot of means, and so I don't get to be all like up on a high horse on the terms of how I make my money and stuff like that. But right now, I don't have any particular plans for sponsorship deals with any companies. And frankly, whenever someone, in the handful of times it's come up, I generally just kind of feel uncomfortable about the whole thing. So far, no plans, but I'm not completely against the possibility in the future. But if I ever do a sponsored video, I'll be very clear about it. The video will probably open up specifically with like this video brought to you by audible.com or whatever the hell, like just right up front. Like, I don't like how YouTube channels I don't like how a lot of channels do the sponsorship thing seemingly at the end of the video. Like, I want to make that clear as possible. This is a sponsored video if I do that. So, we'll see. Thanks for watching like always, guys. Check out IndieBox if you want to. Otherwise, just move on with your day. See you next time.